So the next thing we have is streams. What are streams in Java? Streams mean the flow of data. There are three types of streams we have. Now the next thing we have is what are streams. Streams means the flow of data. हमारे पास तीन टाइप की स्ट्रीम्स है. वी हैव थ्री टाइप्स ऑफ स्ट्रीम. इनपुट स्ट्रीम, आउटपुट स्ट्रीम, एरर स्ट्रीम. स्ट्रीम क्या होती है? स्ट्रीम एक पाइपलाइन है. उस पाइपलाइन में जो वाटर फ्लो कर रहा है वो डेटा. ठीक. If the flow of data ready for input is known as input stream, the flow of data ready for output is known as output stream, the flow of data ready to throw an error is known as error stream. ठीक. Now what we have ki you all must have used YouTube, right? Whenever in the old days when Jio was not there, actually we had 3G network and we had that small phone, most of us. In that, what happened, that YouTube used to buffer, right? The YouTube used to buffer in that. So why did YouTube buffer? The YouTube buffered because the video that our phone got was not sufficient to be played. That means whenever you play a video, the video is first saved in a temporary memory in your phone. So whenever you open YouTube, you play a song, you play a video, that video is first, that video exists on the internet. So that video is first downloaded temporarily on your phone, right? So whenever you see that video is in parallel, simultaneously downloading also. Therefore, you are able to see that whole video, and that is known as the bits that are consumed, right? So in times of 3G, what happened, our phone was not able to sufficiently download the whole video, so our video buffered because we saw a part of the video, but after that part the phone was still downloading the left out part, right? Therefore, now what happens, we have Jio, we have 4G, we are in the 4G world. In 4G world, what happened, that our video is already downloaded. You must have noticed that whenever you play YouTube, there is a white I should say there is a white line that is, wait a second, I'll just show you all that. So a temporary memory is where data is stored before sending it to RAM is known as buffer memory, right? Therefore, buffer memory is a temporary memory where data is stored before sending to RAM. Now, Java has two types of streams, input stream and output stream. It has two types of stream for input-output operation. One is the character stream and another one is the byte stream. Now, what is the difference between character stream and byte stream? You all would have known that a character stream and therefore it performs on the Unicode system. Byte stream perform on the 8-bit system. In character stream, conversion of data is not required because the default character set of Java is characters is Unicode only. Therefore, conversion of data is not required. But in the byte stream, conversion of data is required before. So when conversion of data is not required, therefore our computer does not have to store it in a temporary memory. Therefore, it does not require buffer memory. But in byte stream, conversion of data is required. Therefore, we have to store it in a temporary memory known as buffer memory, right? So this is the difference between character stream and byte stream. The example of character stream are data input stream, and the example of byte stream are input stream reader and buffer reader. Now you all are saying that, so now we have input stream reader and buffer reader. So what is actually in these all are used to take input from the user, right? Therefore, to take input from the user, we have input stream reader and buffer reader. This is the one kind of stream that we have. So what do? We first import the package that is required for it. The package required for it is import java.io.asterisk. Make this a point. The package required for it is java.io.asterisk. IO means input output asterisk means all. Just make it a point that as whenever the word asterisk comes, it means everything included in that folder, everything included in that file. Therefore, asterisk means all the classes included in java.io package. The package name is java.io. Asterisk tells all the files, right? Now what we'll do, we'll first use input stream reader. We'll first create an input stream reader. Input stream reader IR equal to, we use new input stream reader. New means we create a new object, then input stream reader system.in. Remember here system.in. System.in signifies that we are taking input from the system. New input stream reader system.in, right? The next thing we have is buffer reader. When we create buffer reader object, we created buffered, it is buffered reader, yeah, buffered reader br equal to new buffered reader. Here we pass the object for input stream reader. The object for input stream reader is IR. You can change the variable as you like. There is no conversion that use IR and BR only, right? Now we have our buffer reader and input stream. Now we have an alternate to input stream reader and buffer reader, that is known as data input stream, right? So what is data input stream? It is also the purpose, it serves the same purpose. Data input stream is dis equal to new data input stream system.in, right? System.in. The input commands for both are exactly the same. The command that you will use for BR and the commands that you will use for DIS are same. So there is no need to worry. So what command we have? The first command we have to is to input a word. What do I mean by word? There are two things, a sentence and a word. Sentence means multiple words. Sky is blue. There are three words in this sentence. Sky is a word. So when we have to input a sentence, then what we'll use? We'll use, whenever we have to input a sentence, we'll have the data type as string. Then what we'll have? We'll have the S equal to the variable name. If you are using buffered reader, then the variable has to be BR. If you are using data input stream, then the variable has to be DIS. So here what we'll have, br.readLine. What do the read line command tell? You have to read the whole line. Okay. If you have to accept a word from the user, then what you'll have? String word equal to br.read. .read tells you have to just read one word. What does one word means? One word means to read the whole sentence till we get a space bar. Till we get a space, it will read the whole line. Next thing what we have to now note that the buffered reader and the data input stream can only read in form of string. The buffered reader and data input stream can only read in form of string. So how will I read integers and double and rest type of data from it? The question arises. For that, we use wrapper classes. We'll go into wrapper classes in much detail later on. But for now, just consider wrapper classes are used to convert string to the default type. So we'll skip to wrapper classes in much detail. To accept a character from the user, what we'll have, cat ch equal to br.read. What will .read do? .read will read the whole word. .char@ 0. .char@ is a functional string class that we'll see later on. But for now, just remember this. .char@ 0 means character at first position. Okay. This is used to read a character. For reading a string, for reading an integer, int integer equal to integer.parseInt. Integer.parseInt will tell you in which if If we have to input an integer, then we'll use integer.parseInt. If we have to input a double, we'll use double.parseInt. If we have to input a boolean, then we'll use boolean.parseInt. Remember? Okay, clear. So this will convert string to that type. So here we will have br.readLine, right? The same thing you can also do in 2 steps. That in 1 step you accept it in form of string. Like I'll do it in 2 lines again. String temp equal to br.readLine, right? And in the next line I'll do integer.parseInt, integer.parseInt temp. Clear? So the same thing we can do in 1 line, the same thing we can also do in 2 lines. Clear? If we have double, so what we'll have, we have the data type as double equal to double.parseInt, parse double, sorry, not parseInt of course, br.readLine. Clear? So now there also comes one thing, that whenever you will use buffer reader or data input stream, then an error comes from the side of the compiler. To avoid that error, we put throws exception here, throws exception or throws IO exception. You can put both things, both are both value the same thing. So you put throws exception after your main block. After the main block, you put throws exception because our compiler throws some unknown exception that are not known to the compiler. To avoid those exceptions, we use throws exception after the main block whenever you use buffer reader or data input stream. Yeah. So now we'll take, so in this program, let's take input. Let's take this unit as an input from the user. So the first thing you have to keep in mind is system.out.println enter units consumed. The message I use to for more effective way, I should say, that the user knows that what it has to, he or she have to enter. Here we'll have integer dot parse in bracket we'll have br. Let's suppose we are using br.readLine, right? Clear? And now we'll remove the rest code. We'll just have the br with us. So the thing that earlier told you all, that notice the import java.io in the first line. It is used to include the package for input output operation. The next thing is both data input stream and buffer reader throw errors unknown to the Java compiler. Therefore, we use throws IO exception to throw out the input output errors from the program. Now this only. These things I've already told you, that Javac is used to compile the program. It converts Java file to java.class file, and Java command is used to execute a class file. So these all things you all know already. And the next thing that is highly in demand from you all is scanner. That what is scanner? Scanner class is used to take input in primitive data types. It uses java.util class, and it also does not throw any kind of exception to the compiler, right? So to use, so we in the same program only will use scanner. To use scanner class, the package you have to import is known as java.util.abstract. Okay. As it does not throws any exception, you can remove throws exception from here. And here you can have to write scanner sc equal to new scanner system.n. It creates an object of the scanner class. System.n tells us that it is taking input from the system. The functions that are here are not much different from the buffer reader or data input stream. The functions that are here are to take input. To take input as a whole, a sentence, you use sentence sc.next line. Next line takes the whole sentence as input, right? To take input or to take a word as an input, what you do? sc.next. In data input stream and buffer reader, we had read line and read. In this, we have next line and next. To take integer as an input, what we do? Int integer equal to sc dot next int. To take double as an input, what we do? Double d equal to sc dot next double. Clear? To take float as an input, we'll have next float. To take boolean as an input, we'll have next boolean. Clear? And in the same program, if we do the same thing, that I'll use system dot I'll just do units equal to sc dot next int. Next int. Clear? Now I'll remove these all things and I'll just keep the scanner class. Now we'll re-execute our program. We first compile it, and oh, what errors we encounter. What is units? Oh, I actually forgot to.
Data type not specified.
Yeah, these are the kind of mistake I made, you made, Java Bill. Now there was nothing before that, so we'll directly input the unit. So yeah, so it also works the same way.